All right, good morning, everybody. Dan Lyons of the National Weather Service here in Raleigh with the routine briefing for Central North Carolina for Thursday. With me today, I have one of our students volunteers, Amanda. Amanda, say hello to the group.
Hi, everyone.
Amanda's going to be helping out with some of the briefing slides here today. She's actually going to take the first slide, probably the most pressing bit of info that we wanted to share today regarding the heat advisory that we have in effect. So Amanda, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so as you might have noticed, it's been pretty hot lately, but the main change for today is that the heat advisory has been removed for the western counties, including Wake County. But as you can see on the map, there is still a heat advisory in place for the southeastern counties. Now, of course, the heat index is already creeping to above 100 for those counties, and so it's important to note that the reason that the advisory was removed for the western counties is because we have seen an earlier arrival of clouds and rainfall, which is a welcome change for us, but it's still important to note the heat risk for today, even in the areas without a heat advisory. Stay inside and hydrated.
Yeah, so if you happen to be tuning in from areas that are highlighted here, dew points are already up in the upper 70s down there, so it probably feels like a rather uncomfortable day down there. So make sure you heed those advisories. That's out until 5 o'clock today, which is a little bit earlier than we've been ending these as of late. That's because we got some cloud cover and some rain moving into the area. So it will be hot for a brief period of time. So take it easy if you happen to be out in those areas. All right, so let's look at some big picture stuff. Let's talk about the upcoming weather pattern for the week. We do have a weak front. That's what's driving those showers and that cloud cover that's out there now. We have a weak front that's going to move through the area today. If you look at the radar right now, there's not a whole lot going on. There is some rain out there, but it's not terribly intense, nor is it severe. Now, as that moves through the area, there is a chance, and we're thinking some showers and thunderstorms will redevelop, primarily like I-95 and eastward. I wouldn't rule out, some showers as far west as Laurinburg and Lillington and maybe even the far eastern portions of the triangle. But basically, once that front gets into the air mass that's pretty hot and unstable, we are expecting some showers and thunderstorms to redevelop across the area. Some of them could be severe. We'll see how that plays out. I'll talk about the severe risk here in a couple minutes. That front is going to stall across our area tonight. It's going to linger through Friday and Saturday, not really move around much. That will provide kind of a focal area for some showers and thunderstorms to redevelop during the day tomorrow, during the day Saturday. Not really looking at widespread coverage, nor are we really looking at any widespread heavy rainfall totals. So we know it's been dry, and I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. We know it's been dry. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of these showers that we're going to see over the next 3 days are going to do much to really help us out here. We do have some better rainfall chances on Sunday, and Sunday isn't highlighted on the map here, but you can see the Monday map shows a front that has moved through the area and is east of us. Well, that thing is going to move through the area during the day, Sunday into Sunday night. And that will bring us an increased chance of rain. We're thinking about a 60 to 70% chance of rain across the area. Again, the rainfall totals aren't going to be anything to write home about, but this is probably one of the better rainfall chances that we've had area-wide in the last 1 to 2 weeks. The caveat to that, though, is it's going to be awfully warm right before that front gets here. So, it's probably not going to be as hot as what we had yesterday when we saw temps above 100 across the area, but we'll still be looking at mid to upper 90s across a good portion of North Carolina before that front sweeps through the area. And then next week, once that front moves through, it will cool down. I hate to use the word cool this time of year, but temps will retreat. How about that? Temps will retreat into the upper 80s, maybe around 90, which is really right where we should be at this time of year. But it'll be dry. And then as we look ahead a little bit, like next Wednesday, next Thursday, next Friday, 7 to 10 days from now, temperatures are going to start to creep back upward, and we could take another run at the upper 90s to low 100s in some spots by the time we get to the end of the week. So kind of the consistent theme here of hot, dry, not a lot of rainfall. That theme is going to continue as we go into the week ahead. All right, so let's talk about the severe weather potential. I mentioned the potential shower and thunderstorm redevelopment east of the triangle, and that's what's highlighted in that upper left map there with that darker green color. That's a marginal risk from the Storm Prediction Center. And that means, there could be a few showers and thunderstorms that approach severe limits today. We're not expecting widespread severe weather. There could be a few hit or miss showers that get pretty strong and could produce gusty winds. Gusty winds would be the primary threat with these, not really much of a threat for hail or anything of that nature. So gusty winds would be the main hazard that's in play today. When we look at Friday and Saturday, you remember I mentioned that front was going to stall out across the area. That's why we see those areas of real light green, just kind of general thunder is what we call that. We mentioned that as kind of a catch-all when there could be some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Nothing really severe, nothing to write home about, no widespread wind damage or hail or anything like that. And then the rest of the outlook looks clean, really, from Sunday through Thursday. Really no imminent threat of severe weather across the area. So let's talk about something folks are probably more interested in here. How much rain are we going to get? Well, the news isn't really all that great. If you look at all these maps here, you see generally the lightest shade of green across the area today. That's the upper left map. You see some higher totals. You see some of the darker greens and blues east, across far eastern North Carolina, outside of our area of responsibility, but those folks see the best chance of rain today. Like I said, we're really not going to see a whole lot. Those rainfall totals are maybe 1/10 of an inch if you're lucky. Friday and Saturday, kind of the same deal, maybe even less, that lightest shade of green. Even in northeast North Carolina, there's no chance of rain whatsoever across the northeastern corner of the state. So not a whole lot of rain Friday, Saturday. When you do look at Sunday, though, and especially take Sunday and Monday together, that's when that front is going to be moving through the area. That's when I mentioned we had those higher precip chances across the area. And that's where we do see maybe there's a decent shot of getting 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch as that front moves through the area. And if you total that up over the course of the next 5 days, we see some of those lighter blue colors start to appear on there. That's maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch. It's something, right? We haven't had a whole lot, so something is better than nothing, but it's still not, it's not great. And if you've been outside, you've probably noticed how dry it's gotten here. I'll talk about that in a second. Of course, no risk of excessive rainfall with any of those low precipitation totals I just showed you. No excessive rainfall outlooks from WPC. But yes, this is what I wanted to talk about real quick. If you've been out, it's been dry. Your yard has probably been dry. If you have any agricultural interests or, anybody that's in the agriculture business, things have been struggling as of late. And there's been a widespread introduction of moderate drought to the state with the drought update that just came out about 3 hours ago. And unless you live in the far western corner, southwestern corner of the state, pretty much everybody is either abnormally dry or in an area of moderate drought at this point. And unfortunately, really none of those precipitation totals that I showed you a couple slides ago are going to do much to put a dent in this area of drought here. We'll certainly take whatever we can get, but yeah, really nothing widespread that's going to put a significant dent in this drought over the course of the next couple days. So what about week 2? This briefing goes out through next Wednesday. What happens from next Thursday onward? Well, kind of the same theme here, hot, dry. There's a really high percentage, maybe a 60 to 80% chance of above normal temperatures from the Climate Prediction Center. And this isn't just clipping the area. This is pretty solidly parked over the southeastern United States. So it's pretty much a lock that temperatures are going to be above normal by the time we get to the middle and latter part of next week. And, not to beat the drum again too many times here, but it's going to be dry. There's a 40 to 50% chance, especially in the east, the precip totals are going to be below normal for early July. Not the greatest news. As such, Climate Prediction Center, they also put out this hazards outlook for that 8 to 14 day period. And And there's a pretty widespread area here with that red contour of excessive heat across a good portion of the southeast, extending all the way up into Virginia, maybe just outside of the DC area. But you can see a pretty widespread part of the country there at risk for excessive heat. And then some of those areas that you see in tan or orange, we just talked about the expansion of that moderate drought, or the introduction, I should say, of that moderate drought into a good portion of North Carolina. Really no end in sight. And it really does seem like there could be an expansion of rapid onset drought across a good portion of the state. About the only portion of the country that looks like they could be doing good for precip is southeast Arizona and southwest New Mexico, as the monsoon gets fired up down there, as it usually does right around this time of year, 4th of July. But as for us in the Carolinas, hot and dry is the theme. So what is it going to take to get out of this drought? Well, 'tis the season to start looking at the tropics, and sure enough, things are heating up out there. When we did this outlook a couple days ago with our Monday briefing, there wasn't really anything brewing out there in the tropics, but today there's 2 areas of concern that the Hurricane Center is looking at. One near the Yucatan Peninsula, that's the area that's got a less than 40% chance of development, but the one to the east of there, that's one that's got a 60 to 70% chance of development. And that's going to be one to watch out for. They're certainly keeping an eye on both of those. But the one that's in the red, we're going to be really curious to see what happens to that. Of course, this is way out into the future here, so it's way too soon to even speculate about, where that storm develops, if it even develops, how intense it might be, et cetera, et cetera. So stay tuned. We'll see where the model guidance takes us. We'll see what happens with that wave as it continues to track westward. And keep it tuned right here. We'll keep you up to date. As updates come out from the Hurricane Center, we'll certainly be passing those along through briefings and social media, as we usually do. But the tropics are heating up. We'll keep an eye on them. Almost here at the end of the presentation, let's go over the graphical hazardous weather outlook. Your eyes probably immediately drawn to the excessive heat that is highlighted here for today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That is all ahead of that front that's going to move through Sunday into Monday. And you can see the temperatures, the heat kind of retreats a little bit Monday and Tuesday, and then you can see it starts to come back by the time we get to Wednesday. If this chart went out to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you'd almost certainly see those red significant cells start to get highlighted again for excessive heat. Really not much else to write home about here. Certainly no significant threat for excessive rainfall. The only day that's highlighted here is Sunday, and that's a limited chance, if that, when that front comes through and we get some showers and thunderstorms that try and develop. But really, outside of the heat and dry weather, that's, again, the consistent theme here. So let's summarize what's going on. We have a weak front that's moving through North Carolina today. It's in the process of making its way through the state. That's where the clouds are coming from. That's where the showers are coming from. I would expect things to re-intensify once they get south and east of Raleigh this afternoon. We'll be watching that pretty closely. That front's going to stall out, give us some additional really widely scattered chances for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow and Saturday. Better chances on Sunday, and then we get back into the hot and dry weather pattern early next week. And there's a real good chance that by the time we get to the latter part of next week, we're going to be talking about substantially hotter than normal temperatures for sure. The hazards, I talked about the storms later today, south and east of Raleigh. And I did also want to put in a plug here. There is a risk for heat-related illness for those that are sensitive to heat, even though that heat advisory has been trimmed a little bit. If you are sensitive to heat, that could still be a concern for you. And it could still be a concern Sunday. And again, toward the middle and latter part of next week.